Bran the Broken. Bran the Broken. Bran the Broken. Bran the Broken. Bran the 9 years. 8 seasons. Bran the Broken? Hey guys, I'm back again for another recap of Game of Thrones. This was season 8, episode 6, the series finale. Winter has come and gone. It's over, y'all. What we gonna do with ourselves? Now, I was a person who started watching this approximately 2 years ago. Season 7 was actually the first episode, the first season that I watched as it aired. I watched the first 6 seasons all from, just the back HBO Go. And so I cannot imagine how it must feel for those of you who have been rocking with them since season 1, episode 1 in 2011, I think is when it aired. God, just the time invested in this show. I mean, I only have 2 years in it and I'm shook. So, prayers lifted up for those super fans who have been rocking with them for the whole 9 years. I mean, now I have been across the Twitterverse and Facebook and Instagram and just kind of got the general consensus. And I know that people are upset. I did see some people, and more than I thought I would, that said that they were okay with how the show ended. They said that, hey, they wrapped it on up, that they closed every storyline out, and that they were fine with it. But I would say that's probably maybe like 5%. The other 95 are in an uproar. So first, I'm just going to go through what happened in the episode, and then at the end, I will give you my final thoughts. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Normally we recap trashy TV over here. I know Game of Thrones is not trashy TV, but hey, the trashy TV that they were giving me in the month of May, I was not feeling, so I decided to do Game of Thrones instead. But if you'd like to watch some of my older videos, I do things like 90 Day Fiance, I do things like Love After Lockup, Seeking Sister Wives, stuff like that. So, check me out, subscribe, like, all the things. All right, so let's get into it. So this episode starts out with, of course, our favorite character, Tyrion. Him and Jon and the boys are walking through the streets after Daenerys has set it off. They're just looking horrified. People are burnt, still walking around. There's dead people clutching babies. There's just death and destruction and ashes everywhere. Tyrion can't believe what he's seeing because Daenerys told him that, she wouldn't no longer burn the city down. If they rang the bells, they rang the bells. She burned it down anyway. So he's just in shock. He walks through. He decides to tell Jon, like, hey, I'm gonna just go by myself. I need some time alone. I need to process. I need to just take a breather. Jon's like, it's not safe. I'm gonna send some folks with you. Tyrion was like, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna go by myself. I got this. So he goes off. He goes into the Red Keep. He gets a torch, lights it, goes down into the crypts. Of course, where we know Jaime and Cersei are. And of course, it's like there's rubble everywhere. He can't get through, but he's little and there's like a little crack at the top. So he, scurries and somehow gets through. And y'all, I mean, you would think how the whole, they showed it falling, that it would just be packed with just rocks and stuff. But I mean, it was like open and clear. I mean, it was literally, there was like rocks piled in one spot and the rest, I mean, Tyrion was walking right on through there. So I was like, how did Jaime and Cersei not survive? I mean, y'all literally could have just, moved over a little bit. And anyway, he finds this pile of rocks and he sees the golden hand, Jaime's fake hand. And so he just knows that they didn't make it out. And he just breaks down, honey, broken hearted. So he starts to move the rocks. You know what? This was a beautiful scene. I mean, even though it was stupid because clearly they could have survived. I mean, Tyrion walked right through on dry land like the Israelites did when they were running from the Egyptians. But it was still such a beautiful scene because, first of all, Peter Dinklage, amazing actor. I mean, he played Tyrion. Any scene that he's in is amazing. Well, except for one, and I'll get to that. But so he starts moving the rocks and, he uncovers them. And child, when I tell you, Jaime and Cersei look like, I mean, Cersei's lace front didn't even shift in the rubble. I mean, honey is face beat, laid out, beautiful death. that she does not deserve. I mean, they are just in each other's arms and just laying gently under the pile of rocks. I mean, there's not even blood on them. I mean, you would think after being trampled by a pile of rubble that at least, you know, an eye would be dented in or something. But child, they look intact and beautiful. And so Tyrion has his little moment to cry because now, you know, his family's gone. And he tried to save them. He couldn't. Anyway, so fast forward to Jon, who is walking through the streets. He rolls up on Grey Worm. Grey Worm has about 10 Lannister soldiers on their knees about to execute him. Jon tries to be like, hey, bruh, war is over. If you look around, we clearly won. We don't need to do this. Take them as prisoners. Grey Worm is like, I'm acting on, you know, my queen's orders. She said to kill all her enemies. And Jon's like, but we don't need to kill them. It's over. He was like, nah, bruh. They are enemies. They fought against our queen. They're free men. They chose to fight for Cersei. And so now they got to die. And Jon is just like, first of all, he tries to hem Grey Worm up. He grabbed him by the arm. The Unsullied were like, hey, get your hands off our boy. So then there's like a standoff because the Northmen are like, get your hands off our boy. And, you know, they stare each other down. And then they finally just let each other go. And Jon's like, okay, I'm not going to win this fight. You know, they're clearly out for blood. They're not here for the mercy talk. They don't want to hear none of that. So he just walks off and Grey Worm proceeds to kill all the soldiers. So he walks through the city, gets back up to like what's left of, I don't even know where they are. It's just like some steps. I guess it led up to the Red Keep. Daenerys has somehow re-braided her hair, washed the dust off of her face, put on a whole new outfit, and is looking fly. They had this beautiful imagery where they had Drogon like take off behind her, and it looked like she was like flapping her wings. That was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole episode. So she stands up. The Unsullied are all, you know, lined up. Somehow none of them died because there's still like 472,000 of them. You know, the Dothraki in the back, and they're just going wild and crazy. And she does her little death speech, you know, where she's like, hey, thank you for standing by me. Okay, y'all ride or die. Y'all are true to the game. Not new to this. You're true to this. All right. And I thank you. I appreciate you. But we're not done. All right. We got more work to do. There is more to be done because we got to make sure that everybody in the Seven Kingdoms is in line with my agenda. So we're going to go from Winterfell to Dorne. And if they don't bend the knee, we going to burn them down too. Y'all ready? Y'all with me? Like, that's basically what her speech was. Through the whole speech, Tyrion and Jon are looking at each other like, boy, do you hear this? Even though they don't speak Valyrian, somehow they understand what she's saying. And, you know, they know that she is, you know, trying to burn down, or else if you don't bend the knee immediately. Which was another oversight because just the last episode, Tyrion couldn't even say one sentence in Valyrian, and then now all of a sudden he understood Daenerys' whole speech. Anyway, that's beside the point. And so they're nervous, they're shook because they're like, okay, this girl has flipped the script. She has turned into the Mad Queen. Tyrion basically walks up and tells her, look, you told me you was gonna have mercy on these folks and you didn't. She tried to hit him with the, I know you let your brother go. All right, you think I didn't find out about that? You committed treason, boy. And he said, oh, I committed treason? You burned down an entire city, slaughtering innocent women and children. He takes off his hand of the queen, little pin, and throws it down the steps, embarrasses her in front of all her people. So of course, like, as soon as he did that, I was like, oh man, Tyrion, I'm surprised she didn't burn him up right there. I was like, she about to roast him alive, chicken drumette. She arrests him, you know, takes him off, puts him in a little cell. She looks at Jon like, you want a whooping too? And Jon was like, no mama, I don't want a whooping. Then Jon goes to visit Tyrion, and they have a discussion basically about how Daenerys is not what he thought she was. Tyrion believed in her. He thought she was going to do the right thing, and she didn't. She let him down. And he's like, Jon, you know what you need to do? Like, she is not done. She will keep going until everybody does what she wants them to do. And if she has to kill and roast up people, so be it. And so Jon is kind of still on that. She's my queen. We need to be loyal to her. And Tyrion is like, what about your sisters though? You know your sister's not going to bow to her. So when your sisters don't bow to her and she decides to roast them up like she did Sam's dad and brother, then what you going to say? You still going to say that's our queen and we need to listen to her? No, you're not. You know what you need to do. You know that you're the rightful person. You know you're the better person. Do the right thing. So Jon's like, all right, I'm going to give Dany one more chance. Like, he's really swirling with what he needs to do. But he's like, I'm going to go talk to her. I'm going to give her one more chance. So we fast forward to the scene where Dany is she has the red throne in her sight. She is in the throne room. She sees it for the first time in person. She walks up the steps. She puts her hand on it. Jon comes up behind her. They have a little dialogue. And, basically Jon's trying to figure out where her head is at. So he just basically asks her tells her about the soldiers that Grey Worm was killing in the street. She like, and he like, well, can we show mercy? And she like, mercy? Pfft, mercy? This is not the time for mercy, okay? This is the time for fire and blood, okay? And Jon's like, well, can't we decide what, when to show mercy or what's good in the world? And Jon's like, it's not for them to decide what's good. And so it's like at that point when they had that conversation, Jon saw that he couldn't get to her, that she was going to be the Mad Queen, and that was the path that she was on, and she couldn't be convinced away from it. She couldn't be counseled away from it by him or Tyrion or anybody else. It was just done. He tries to get her to forgive Tyrion for what he did, and she was like, I can't forgive him. Did you see how he embarrassed me in front of my people? Like, what will that say to them if I'm just letting folks free that disrespect me in my face? So, after that, I think he saw that, like, there's no heart here. And so she goes up to him and she gives him one last plea to be with her. Girl, she still, I don't know what Jon put on her, but woo, he must have a magic stick, because she been begging for him since last season, trying to get back with her. So she makes one last plea. Please, 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 baby, please. Begging like Keith Sweat. Can you get back with me? And Jon tells her, you'll always be my queen. I love you, whatever. They kiss. And then all of a sudden you hear, shh. And Jon stabs her in the heart. She dies. She falls down. She dead. She looks at him like, I can't believe you. It be your own people. It be your own nephews. So that actually surprised me. I was a little shocked. But anyway, so then I think Drogon senses something's wrong. He flies in, sees that Dany's dead. He tries to push her with his nose. Like, it was literally like the Lion King when Simba fell. When Mufasa fell and Simba was like, Dad, get up. Dad, come on, Dad, get up. I was like, oh no, Drogon. She not gonna get up. That was like heartbreaking. He starts to mourn and scream. Jon's really scared because he's like, he about to roast me up. I just killed his mama. But he didn't. Instead, he burns down the Iron Throne. And I think Drogon was probably thinking like two things. The first thing is, if my mama's not sitting on that throne, nobody's gonna sit on it. This is the end of this whole Iron Throne thing, so I'm burning it down. The second thing is, I think he saw that the power and the desire to get to that Iron Throne is what ultimately killed her, and he wanted to destroy that. And that's what he did. So he melts the Iron Throne. No more Iron Throne. He scoops up Daenerys, flies off. That's the last we see of her. The rest of the show was idiocy. And when I say idiocy, I mean idiocy. So the first half hour up until Daenerys' death, I was cool with. There was a couple things that didn't make sense, yes, but it was okay. I was okay. I was like, all right, I said last week, I kind of knew Daenerys was going to die. I didn't know that Jon was going to be the one to kill her, but fine. They wrote that in. I'm okay with that. The last 40 minutes was just nonsense. So they bring Tyrion out of, prison. And they bring him before the council. So everybody's there. All the houses. The Starks, the Tullys, Gendry's there. A bunch of people we ain't seen since season 3. Robin, Aaron is there. Boy done growed up. I couldn't even name all the people that are there. And so they're trying to decide what to do with Tyrion. So Grey Worm brings him out. First of all, you were killing soldiers in the streets, but you decide to give Tyrion and Jon weeks before you execute them. I don't. It's like once Daenerys died, nobody knew what to do anymore, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so they start having this discussion about what to do with Jon and Tyrion. What's her name? Yara Greyjoy tries to say that, she was loyal to Daenerys. That was my girl. Jon killed her. He needs to die. Arya was like, hey, keep my brother's name up out your mouth or I'm going to slit your throat. All right? Don't say his name again. They're just arguing. So finally Tyrion speaks up, as Tyrion does. Grey Worm tries to get him to be quiet because he's a prisoner, but somehow he proceeds to make a 5-minute dialogue and suggests that they, pick a new ruler. They just pick somebody. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. Pick somebody. Cool. Pick somebody. I don't understand, because y'all know I wanted democracy, which is exactly what Sam did. Sam stood up and he was like, why don't we let the people rule? Because you're not just ruling us. lords and ladies, you're ruling common folk. So let the common people have a say in the decision of who rules them. They laugh that off. They're like, boy, please, my horse and my dog gonna vote too. So they laugh off democracy. So at that point, I was like, dang, my idea was wrong. So, but I still was like, okay, but still, maybe they won't pick anybody and they'll just whoever the lord is of the houses will rule, accordingly. So then Tyrion goes into this monologue, and he's like, blah, 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 and, history and time, and who has a better story than, and I'm like, Arya, Sansa, oh my God, Gendry, he's a Baratheon, right? Like, the last king was Baratheon. He's like a sweet Baratheon. We like Gendry. Sansa, raped, married off to 2 psychopaths, rose to power and is sneaky and just smart. Arya, an assassin, strong. Literally, Jon, who actually is the rightful heir to the throne, even though he did kill the queen. Like, who is he gonna say? And this boy hits us with Bran the Broken. And I looked, because I'm at, it's a watch party, so there's several of us. And I look around like, are y'all hearing this? Who? Repeat that back to me, please. Bran? The dude who isn't even Bran? The 3-eyed raven? The one who sat in a wheelchair and did nothing this whole entire season but just pop up and stared at people? And said that he wasn't who he used to be anymore? And now all of a sudden he's Bran the Broken? Bran tries to argue back and is like, I don't want it. And I'm like, yes, exactly. You don't want it. Moving on to the next person, please. And Tyrion's like, oh, even better so. Sansa's like, hold up, he can't have kids. He's like, great. So after he's gone, we'll let the people pick again, a new ruler. He's like, who better to rule than somebody who doesn't want the throne? I'm like, Jon! Jon doesn't want the throne. How about him? Maybe, he was a warrior. He died and came back to life. He's an actual Targaryen. Maybe him. So finally, Tyrion's like, will you do it? Will you be our king? And Bran's like, why you think I came all this way? I promise y'all I could have put my foot through the TV screen. From that point on, I checked out of the episode. I'm not kidding. I literally was like, this is dumb. I pulled out my phone and got on Twitter and was like, I know people are in an uproar, and I started reading tweets. I was still watching. I saw everything that happened. But mentally, I was done. Like, the show ended at that point. When they picked Bran as the king, mentally, I checked out. I was done. I was like, I cannot. So then they proceed to have all these stupid scenes where, they have like their first council meeting. First of all, Bronn, Master of Coin, where did Bronn even come from? Why is he even still on this show? Like, Bronn tried to kill you. They're like, oh, is your debt repaid? Don't nobody care about Bronn. Get him out of here. I'm like, they want a master of whispers, and he's like, Bran can see everything. He's a 3-eyed raven. He don't need a master of whispers. He a whisperer. That was a stupid scene. That whole little, when they like pan out where they're like discussing the new king. Don't nobody care. They gonna bring Tyrion a book, The Song of Fire and Ice, and he ain't even in it. Why you bring me this if my name not in here? Like, I don't know if that was supposed to be funny. It wasn't funny. Nobody was laughing. Get that out of here. All right, so next we go to Brienne, who her noble behind want to finish Jaime's whole life story out and gonna talk about he died. No, mention him leaving you in that house coat in the cold. Put that in the story. Let me calm down because I'm getting loud. All right. What else happened? So Jon gets sent to the Night's Watch. Why is there a Night's Watch? The purpose of the Night's Watch was to protect and defend the wall from like weird stuff beyond the wall and to keep the wildlings out. Y'all cool with the wildlings now. Tormund's leading them, y'all friends. Everybody's cool with the wildlings. The Night King is gone. There's no threat beyond the wall. Why is there a Night's Watch? And if Bran, his brother, is the king, why didn't he just pardon him? Why didn't he just say, you know what? The Unsullied are gone. Go home to Winterfell. And let that be it. Arya decides to go west of Westeros. First of all, so the whole family gonna split up. Y'all spent the entire show being apart. Y'all fought. and didn't die to get back together, and now y'all all going your separate ways. How? So the Stark family is all across the four corners of the earth. They ain't together no more. Sansa like, I wish it didn't have to be this way. How about make it not be that way? I mean, I just don't understand how the Unsullied are gone. The Dothraki, who knows where they went. And all the people who wanted Jon dead are gone. And Bran doesn't just pardon him and say, do what you want. You can stay here with me. You can go back home to Winterfell. But no, they like carry out this sentence. And I don't know if it was just like setting Jon free from the life of like royals, lords, and ladies, because he really never wanted any of it, which is fine. Like, I get it. Jon never wanted that life. He was a warrior. He was just a noble man. But I was like, I just hated that he was like sent beyond the wall, even though he is with Tormund and he is with the wildlings and all that, like not take a wife, like child, he gonna be with Ygritte number 2. But I thought that was dumb. He did pet Ghost, so all y'all can shut up, okay? That was one of the good things that came out of this episode. All right, he got reunited with Ghost and he got to pet Ghost with the one ear, and that was sweet. And now him, Tormund, and Ghost are beyond the wall doing God knows what. You know, and I know this is getting out to you guys late, but I really had to take time to think about why. I didn't want to just rant and be like, I hated the episode, it was stupid. I really want to think about why I didn't like it and what could have happened that would have satisfied me. And, you know, I'm cool with Dany's death. That's fine, because it's like it had to happen. Either she had to die or the whole Stark family had to die, because those two things could not coexist. Never. I pretty much knew her death was inevitable, and I'm okay with that. And I'm also okay with Jon not being king, because at the end of the day, Jon never wanted it, and that I'm okay with that too. You know, I would have loved to see Jon on the throne, but you know, and at the end of the day, it's like, I get that Jon actually killed the queen, but like people Jaime killed her dad and was like still in the King's Guard. So it's like the fact that Jon got punished officially for killing her, that was stupid, because I'm like, Robert's rebellion, he just took over and just took the throne. I mean, people do it. It has happened in this show's realm in the past. I don't understand why all of a sudden everybody want to follow the rules now. But I think that the things that bothered me the most were, one, the Stark family splitting up. I really wanted the Starks to stay together, be in Winterfell, rule, you know, the North together. That was one of the big things that bothers me, that they're all split up now. And just Bran being king. I mean, Bran didn't even want to be the Lord of Winterfell. When Sam and Bran had a conversation when they found out that Jon was actually Targaryen, Sam told Bran, you're the Lord of Winterfell now. You're Ned Stark's true last son. And Bran was like, I can't be the Lord of Winterfell because I'm not a man. Like, I'm not a man anymore. I'm not just Bran Stark. I'm the three-eyed raven. I'm a whole otherworldly being that cannot get into this petty world of lords and ladies and ruling houses and things like that. And so for him to go from that and then 3 episodes later be like, yeah, I'll be the king. Sure. Why not? Like, that to me is a jump that I don't think that you can just make. Bran's not even a human. Bran's not even a person. Bran wasn't even part of the discussion they had at the first council meeting. He's not going to rule. And I know some people might say, well, the best ruler is a ruler who isn't a ruler. Fine. But God dang it. Pick somebody else. Pick somebody else. Sansa. Somebody. Speaking of Sansa, you know who won the Game of Thrones? If we're really going to talk about the game and who won, Sansa Stark, baby girl, won, in my opinion. She was married to 2 psychopaths and 1 little person. She came through the fire and the water, better for it, smart. They outsmarted Littlefinger, killed him in the season finale last season, and she took over Winterfell in Jon's place and rose to power and is an amazing leader, ruler, queen of the North. All hail Sansa Stark. She won it for me. She won the Game of Thrones. I feel like if anybody could have played it better, I don't know who else did, because the way they ended up some people's stories in this last episode was just ridiculous. Sansa wins it for me. Just honorable mention for just acting in general, Peter Dinklage. My God, that man can act. his portrayal of Tyrion was stellar from beginning to end. I believe that I read in an article that he is the only character who appears in every episode at least once. That man played his butt off. Kudos to him. Stellar acting. Peter Dinklage, just boy, go ahead. I was really disappointed in the last half of the episode. So the whole first half I was cool with. I was cool with the whole, Tyrion crying over his brother and sister. I mean, the fact that Cersei died the way she did, I'm still disappointed in that, but I had gotten over it. I was okay. The whole first 30 minutes, 35-ish minutes was perfect. After Dany died, the episode just took a turn that I could not get on board with. Literally anybody other than doggone Bran Stark, who is not even Bran Stark anymore, could have been king. I mean, Gendry, what a sweet, gentle man. He's almost, but also strong and can fight. Like, would have made an amazing king. If you just picking folks, if we just picking people and it don't matter, we just picking Gendry Baratheon would have been an amazing choice. He is noble, he is honorable, he is honest, he's kind, and also can whoop some behind when he needs to. Strong, got Baratheon blood in him. Perfect choice. Sansa Stark, perfect choice. I mean, if we just picking any old body, Bran? And I know a lot of people were like, well, when he said who has the better story, they meant he has the history of the world. He has all the stories. And I hear all of that. But first of all, Tyrion didn't say that. I think he was referring to Bran's actual life story. Him getting pushed out the window, him surviving beyond the wall, him making it, surviving the Night King, even though he didn't do a darn thing. I get the argument for Bran being the king. Fine. But it's stupid, and you cannot sit for 5 minutes and really think it through. Based on what they showed us this season and since Bran has been the three-eyed raven in the last 2 seasons, since he got all the information of the universe downloaded, and how weird he's been, and how he has renounced his Bran Starkness this entire time to all of a sudden now want to be Bran the Broken. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's not a good way to end the show, and it was not a good choice, in my opinion. And in a lot of other people's opinions. So I really would have liked to have seen someone else rule, or nobody. Like I said last episode, it would have been perfectly fine if they picked nobody, let Jon go on home and rest and pet Ghost, and the Stark family stay together, and just let the people rule themselves. Pick your local, lord of the house or whatever, and just, have council meetings every so often to discuss whatever. You don't need a ruler of the 6 kingdoms or the 7 kingdoms or whatever. I was disappointed. I was disappointed in the ending. And, those are the things that I sat down and thought about. And I was like, I would have liked to see this. So, those are the things. But like I said, Sansa Stark wins it for me. If I have to pick somebody who won the Game of Thrones, Sansa Stark. She was like, we're going to be independent. We're not going to have no king. The North will always be independent. And she went and was the queen in the North. I'm like, baby girl, I got nothing to say against you. You played the game well. Check. Mate. But yeah, that was it. And so those are my final thoughts about the episode and what happened. And it's over, guys. I mean, regardless of how you feel about how it ended, if you're okay with it, if you hate it, at the end of the day, one of the greatest shows that has ever aired on television has ended. And that is something to make a note of. Like, internalize it. Take a deep breath and just know that you were a part of a phenomenon, guys. Like, you were one of the people who watched one of the greatest shows of all time while it was on TV. It's one of the things you're going to tell your kids about. I mean, I'm not even joking. Like, I will literally tell my kids about this show. I will probably name one of my kids Khaleesi or something like that, Arya. I mean, it's literally the craziest thing to ever happen, and you were a part of it. So even if you hated the ending, think about all the good things that came out of this show. Think about the great conversations that you've had with friends, the arguments you've had, the amazing battle scenes, the amazing CGI and imagery, the amazing writing. of this show up until the 8th season. Like, just think about all of the good. Don't dwell on the bad. I know it didn't end how we wanted, but this was a phenomenon and we got to be a part of it. And I, for one, am kind of pumped about that. You know, like I'm a throner. I'm an original throner. I'm not one of those people who's going to go back and watch it later after it's over and catch, watch it. No, I'm a throner. All right. I was watching it while I was on TV. Guys, just hold on to that. You were part of something amazing that will probably never happen again in your lifetime. So that's it for me. I will catch you guys again in my next recap when 90 Days the Other Way airs in June. So take a little break, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, eat some barbecue, go swimming, get a tan, get some melanin popping, get your braids done. Okay, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your Monday off. I'll see you guys 90 Day the Other Way. Enjoy your long weekend. Love you. Thank you for watching.